So we can say it now. What can we say, Graham?
What can we say?
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the iced coffee hour, right?
Because this is the first time they're going to be back.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome back,
Welcome
everyone.
back to the non-iced coffee. This is old coffee, but I'm just going to roll with it today.
Exactly. That's how we do it here.
Yes.
So welcome back, everyone. We hope you had a good week since the past week. What we're going to do is, first off, how was your week, Graham?
Good.
Was it good?
Yeah. Good week.
So something crazy that happened, and it just happened today, was that Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank reacted to your Millennial Money.
Yeah.
And that was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. I wish, because the thing is, CNBC sent me an email the night before telling me that, like, hey, this is going to happen. I think it would have been more surprising had I just, like, gone on YouTube and had seen that. And then been, like, totally caught off guard. Would have surprised me. But at least the bright side is that I had time to prep because I knew I was going to be doing a reaction to that video. So at least I had time to mentally be like, okay, how am I going to structure the next day around that? So
yeah, it was crazy. You texted me, you're like, dude, like all caps. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not in trouble. I thought first off that I was in trouble.
I wouldn't, if you were in trouble, I wouldn't start with dude.
You wouldn't?
No.
Okay, good to know. Good to know for next time. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. Another thing is, during this past week, Graham and I went back to McDonald's as we said we would do in the first ever episode.
Yeah, we did.
So tell me what happened there, Graham.
We did it sounds so dirty when we say it. I don't want to say it, but we took the McDouble and with the McChicken and you put them together and you eat them as one sandwich. It was decent. You know, it's good. I would say it's good.
Did I overhype it?
Probably. It wasn't magical by any means. I mean, it's exactly as you think when you combine chicken and beef.
Except the thing is that they kind of taste similar. Like the chicken can go as
really.
meat. Really?
I don't know. The chicken has the McChicken has a bit of a spice to it. There's something with the McChicken with it's in the batter or something like that. We don't even know if that's real chicken or not.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's why, it
it's
could
probably
taste
not.
like...
I would say chicken's not that expensive. So I don't know. Probably beef is more expensive than chicken. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Anyways,
it doesn't matter.
So yeah, we got the I'll blur that. And yeah, it was pretty decent. Cool. And the final thing is happy anniversary.
Oh, is it our anniversary?
Yesterday was.
Wow.
1 year.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
Happy 1 year.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
congratulations.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
Survived the first year.
Exactly.
Nice.
So one thing that I figured is I don't think I went into the last podcast with enough material. So I prepared a lot for today. Oh. And one thing that I thought was insane was the Joe Rogan thing. $100 million for what was the licensing for his...
I don't know. I think it was the licensing for the Joe Rogan podcast. So only exclusively Spotify can have that. So I think what he's doing is he's keeping it as is, and then I think September he starts doing both, and then I think by November of this year it's going to be just on Spotify.
That's insane. I'm just trying to picture in my head, because I don't know what his net worth was beforehand, but waking up and then just like getting $100 million. $100 million.
I mean, I don't know how it's structured or how the payments are, because usually I'm guessing those deals wouldn't just be here's $100 million up front. It would be we guarantee you $100 million a year for the next 3 years, contingent on these certain things.
Was that it? $100 million per year?
No, sorry. What did I say? No, like
$100
million total, but we're going to pay you, a certain amount per year, but it's going to be a contract worth $100 million. Like, because you hear athletes get to sign a $20 million contract, $30 million contract. It's not all paid at once. It's paid annually.
Right. And you think that's just like recorded as income and just taxed as income with state and federal taxes? Just like...
Yeah. I don't know how he has it structured, but yeah, I mean, a portion of that would probably end up in his pocket. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. And one thing that it reminded me of, just acquiring that big of a lump sum at once, is this movie called Brewster's Millions. Have you ever heard of Brewster's Millions?
No.
So it's about a guy who was like a failed minor league pitcher. So nothing spectacular. And he just finds out, like out of nowhere, that his uncle had like a ton of money, basically. And the thing was, it was like a game. Yeah. He said, if you can spend $30 million and have net assets zero by the end of it, then you get the rest, like the other $300 million. So this guy in this movie, he had a month to spend $30 million. And if he couldn't spend it, he didn't get the extra $300 million. But if he could do it, then he got like, $300 million and like 10 times more than he initially got.
Right.
Which was like crazy in my mind. Because I saw this movie a long time ago, so I'm probably butchering a lot of the facts and stuff like that. But have you ever heard of Brewster's Millions?
No.
And it's crazy to me because I think, like, what would you do? How would you spend, like, that $30 million?
Easy. I would say art, cars, watches, real estate. I mean,
But then you'd have assets.
oh, you have to spend. Oh, and not have any assets.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you have to have net assets 0 from that $30 million.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you could basically...
And you couldn't tell anyone.
Yeah, so you would be able to rent a really expensive house. There are plenty of houses that you could rent. Hamptons prime season, I think it's like $200,000 a month. You could pay even more for like full staff and stuff like that. You could rent a whole bunch of houses like that. You're not owning any assets on that. You could rent some really expensive... It's basically renting everything.
So that's what you would do.
Yeah,
because in the movie, he did a lot of things. Like there were limitations with like you can't give away a certain amount, you can't tip a certain amount.
Right.
And I'm thinking like I might just accept the $30 million. Because in the movie, he was this close to not getting
You would have to
million.
you would have to have a plan, but I bet you could plan it out and diligently, plan to spend the $30 million.
It's just an interesting...
It would take a lot of time. I mean, it seems like for a month you'd really have to try to spend that much.
Yeah,
money.
because like people came to him with like ridiculous investment ideas. He'd be like, "Sure, write a check," and one of them like paid off like a ton of money, like back to his $30 million. So like, and also at the same time, he couldn't tell anyone that he was spending this money. So everyone thought that he was.
You know
just
what would be a
squandering.
great thing is just gamble it.
No, you can't.
You can't gamble.
No,
it,
there was a
no.
limitation on the gambling.
Okay.
But I'm thinking like no one knew, so everyone thought that he was like a loser, and everyone started hating him, and like he ruined like a social life, and everyone was abusing him for his money. And
You know
stuff
what?
like that.
You could almost buy like really expensive priceless paintings and then damage them.
Assign it as
Do you damage them and then they're worth so much less? Like imagine buying, let's say, like a Mona Lisa. Let's just say
people would be so mad at you.
and you drive
just
over
light it on fire.
You light it on fire, something like that, and then the ashes, you sell the ashes back for, let's say, $1 million or something like that, and then now you only have $1 million to spend in 30 days. You could do that with exotic cars too. You just get like a vintage Ferrari, $10 million,
Just crash it.
and then sell it $1 million. Right, and it's got to be worth something like that, and then just now you spend $1 million on something, and you can just repeat that.
Right, but also the risk of having that, like $30 million, in my opinion, is enough, right? Like if you put it in the market, it's like 7%, it's $2.1 million a year. So you could live easily off of $1 million a year, off of $30 million. And to take the chance of not getting anything in the end.
It's a lot of work. I'd probably take the challenge, but I'd find a way to spend it.
Fair enough. If you had $10,000 to spend in one day, what would you spend? I know it's not a lot of money, but that's why I think it's interesting.
But I can't have assets, or I can't have assets?
You can have assets. $10,000.
I had to spend
but you couldn't
$10,000.
like buy it and like put it in the market or anything like that.
Probably buy a watch.
You buy a watch?
I'd buy a watch.
Fair enough.
If I had to spend $10,000 a day, it'd be a watch.
If you had a higher net worth, so if your net worth was, let's say, like $50 to $100 million, what would your day be like? What would it consist of?
Probably the same.
You do the exact same thing? Because I know you get stressed out with work.
Yeah, but I like it.
So you
It's
like
a good
the stress.
Yeah, it's like working out. When you sometimes work out and it's just like, oh, I don't want to go work out today, and then you work out and you feel so much better you did that. Same thing with working, making YouTube videos. Sometimes it's painful to work out. It's painful for me to work sometimes, but then afterwards you're so happy you did it.
But would you still do like 3 posts a week on the main channel and like 3 to 4 on the second channel? Would you still post as much?
I like that because I know once I start slipping on that, the whole thing is going to crumble, so I don't slip.
Would you ever spoil yourself?
I don't know what like, because I don't. The aquarium, honestly, is the only thing that I really want is to set up like a big reef tank. So that would be the only thing that I'd probably
bigger one.
I would probably do a bigger tank. I mean, if money were no issue, I would probably love to do like 1,000, 2,000 gallon aquarium and something crazy. That's probably what I would end up doing. But no, there's really no. Oh, you know what? I would like to have a place with a garage. Yeah. I want a usable garage to park like 3 cars. I think
What
might
cars?
be cool. I'd love a Ford GT, like the 2006,
The originals?
yeah, 2005 Ford GT. I think would be great. SLS AMG Mercedes would be another one. I really want one of those at some point. Maybe a Z8 BMW. I think are really cool, or like a GT3 RS Porsche or something like that. I think those would be great cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What do you think about having bucket lists? Do you think that they're pointless? Do you think that they're worthwhile to have?
I never really gave it much thought.
Do you have a bucket list?
No. Not really. I have things I definitely want to do van life at some point. So I think van life is something that I really would want to try for like 6 months. I think it's that seems fun to me. Maybe like living on a boat for a month might be kind of cool. Do that. Traveling. I really want to spend like 6 months and just travel.
6 months isn't that long.
Maybe, I don't know.
So you don't really actually have like a bucket list per se, but like
I mean, those are things I definitely want to do at some point. Van life, I think, would be sooner than later. You know, traveling, I definitely want to do before I'm too old to travel. So I definitely want to do that on the younger side of things. Otherwise, no, I'm very happy. Just as things are.
It's amazing to me how just like content you are with everything. Like it's really cool. I asked Graham a really interesting question, which was one thing that I have is if I wake up,
Dude,
was that me? Dude,
that was you. Yeah, that was you.
Here, let me just. There we go.
You got to put it. Do not disturb.
If I woke up from a bad dream, I'm happy. Like I'm happy that I have a bad dream because then when I wake up, I know that it wasn't reality and I can go back to my reality and just be like stoked, you know? But if I have a really good dream, I remember the worst dream I've ever had in my entire life was I had a dream that I found 10 Honus Wagner baseball cards, T206. So it's like, and those cards were like $500,000. So I was like, oh my God, I have like $5 million in baseball cards and I love baseball cards. I woke up and I was just sad. I was like, 10 T206 is just gone. And it was like depressing. And I asked Graham, I was like, if you have a bad dream, do you feel the same way? And he said like, you know, he doesn't feel the same way. Like he's happy when he has a good dream because he wakes up and he still thinks that is like reality. Like it's kind of a dismal thought. But I that kind of dumbfounded me. I didn't think that. I thought a lot of people were happy when they woke up from bad dreams.
Wait, I never said I wasn't happy to wake up from a bad dream.
No, you said that you were happy waking up from good dreams.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm excited for life. So yeah, so I'm happy to wake up from a good dream.
But then you realize it isn't the reality.
I'm happy with reality though. I mean, reality is pretty good too. They're both good. I think reality is just as good.
Okay, yeah. Good answer. Yeah, for me, my bucket list it'd be pretty simple. Graham said that he'd like for me to get a Corvette at some point. Funny enough,
mid-engine. Of course, yeah.
It's been one of my like goal cars since I was a kid. I always liked Corvettes. And then I'd also like to get a Tesla if possible.
Cool.
Do something impactful and to be like wealthy enough would be my bucket list basically.
How wealthy? Wealthy enough? What is that?
I don't want to have to worry about money. I want to be able to travel. Like you're definitely.
Yeah, but you could do that off $750,000. If you had $750,000,
but I don't want to travel like in
bank
like
account.
You
wouldn't have to worry
couch
about
surf and stuff like that. Like I want to travel like nice places.
So you want to be at like the Marriott and the Hilton and
yeah, I'll take a Marriott. I'll take a Hilton.
I'll
take a Ritz. Okay. Sure. Right, like sure. I think that like for you wealthy, like I think if I was as wealthy as you, I'd be good enough. Like income, obviously, I'd be stoked if I had your income, but I would be content at that. Yeah, okay. I don't need like $30 million. If someone were to give me it, I'd be like, sure. I have a friend that said he would not accept like if someone gave him $30 million
because then the chase is over.
No, he said because he doesn't want it. Nothing about a chase. He just doesn't want to be wealthy. Like he's like, I'd probably just buy myself like a $500,000 house.
I don't know. That's where your friend's lying.
That's what I said. I was like, no
not
way.
Being truthful.
No, that's what I said. But he was like, he was so set in his own ways that he wouldn't want it. I don't know.
Unless my only thing would be like if you give someone that, then there's no chase.
Yeah.
Then there's no reason to pursue anything.
But you would accept $100 million.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to see with 95% certainty I would.
But there's still a 5% that you wouldn't.
Yeah, because there's that nervousness of just what if, like if you take it, what if this changes things, and what if you lose that hunger because all of a sudden you've been fed so much. It is a lot more rewarding to work for it.
Maybe. I think that for you, it's not so much about the money anymore. I think it's more about just like the work ethic and just like the drive. Yeah. So that could still be there if you really wanted to.
I think it's about the accomplishment.
But if you were to get $100 million, what would you do the next day?
I wouldn't do anything for probably 2 years. I'd probably sit on the cash for 2 years. I wouldn't do a single thing to it.
But like not like you would just go about the same day. Like, what's up, guys? Yeah. Graham here.
Wouldn't change a single thing for 2 years.
Dang, that's crazy.
Maybe a year, but I would probably just at $100 million. What I'd probably end up doing is I'd probably put 70 of that million into the stock market, and then maybe 30, and just buy real estate outright. Mm-hmm. And at that point, you just don't need, it's better to just take the safe option. That's what I would do.
I would do probably like 10% bonds, like 5% like gold and silver, and like maybe 3% Bitcoin. And then most of it, I would just do real estate, and the rest I would do like stocks and dollar cost average those. Cool. What are your pet peeves, Graham? What really grinds your gears?
Jeez.
Two of my pet peeves would be littering. It really, really makes me mad when people litter. And people that don't say thank you when I open up the door for them. That right there, like I every single time someone doesn't do it, I just want to look at them and just say, you're welcome. Like every single time. Because I'm going out of my way to help them.
Yeah, but you going out of your way doesn't necessarily deserve a thank you. You go out of your way because you want to help
But
someone.
I make sure that I say thank you when someone opens when I cross the crosswalk and there's a car going, even if I'm on a run, I'll go,
see, I just feel like you're not obligated to receive it. Like if you want to open the door for somebody, you do it because you want to open the door for them. You don't do it without the expectation of getting. I know it's nice, it's cordial to be, thank you. I would say thank you, but yeah, you can't be angry at someone. You do something for someone and they don't do something back.
But I'm not expecting anything. Well, I mean, like, I guess in a way I am, but it's not necessarily like I need to be thanked for my own sake. It's like I see them and I view like them as like I'm just like, how could you not acknowledge that? It's not on me. Like, I don't need to receive a thank you. I don't need the compliment. But what I do need is just like to see that they're the type of person that would thank me.
Okay. So yeah, I guess one of my pet peeves would be just people who are closed-minded. I would say that's a big one.
Yeah, people that like really get angry at people for not saying thank you for closing or for
exactly. But no, I'd say people who are closed-minded get to me because I don't get it. People who are late. That gets me. If you are late and I have to wait for somebody, I can't stand. That is the one thing that makes me angrier than anything. And I rarely get angry, but if I'm kept waiting for something, I do not like it. Because I'm always like, I want to say 99% of the time I'm very punctual and I get there early. So I feel like if I make an effort to get somewhere early, if someone else shows up late, obviously if something is way beyond their control, fine. But even that, you call in advance. You know, as soon as you know you're going to be late, you explain that.
That's really fair because it's like they're valuing their time over your time.
Oh, yeah.
They think that their time is more important than you. I forgot. I just thought of it right now that you said that is cutting in line. Mm-hmm. I hate line cutters. Yeah. Like if I see someone cutting in like the snack bar line at high school, that is who they are to me. They're a line cutter to me. Like I don't even like there are people that all I can think of when I when someone says their name now is just they're a line cutter.
You know what's funny? When you say line cutting, the first thing I think of is cutting on the freeway. You know, like when people skip all around and burn it. I read a survey or I read a study a while back that said the nicer or the more expensive car you have, the more likely people are to let you in. Is that interesting?
That's super weird.
Yeah. So it goes to show you, like, if you're driving up in a Ferrari and you want to cut everybody, or like a high-end car, people are more likely to like.
But do you think that that's because they take more like chances at like cutting people? Because I feel like people that drive nicer cars kind of drive a little crazy.
No, I think it's the perception that must be someone important, or that person has status because they have a more expensive car.
I'm not gonna lie, Graham. Your driving sometimes scares me.
Mine? I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's very scary. When I'm in the car with you, I'm not gonna say how fast you're going. But you're going a decent speed on the freeway, and it's very jerky.
No, okay, so I will say this. In all fairness, I think I drive like a grandma but I get in the car with you, and it's just like there's no urgency to get anywhere with you. It's driving below the speed limit.
Yeah.
If a light turns yellow and we're like kind of there, it's like, oh, let me just slow down. And then we're slowing down, and like the light turns yellow. It's like 5 seconds yellow. It's like, could have just gone.
I'm a passive driver.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like to be
compared to you. I drive fast, but I think compared to a lot, I think I drive the speed.
I do drive like a grandma sometimes. Yeah. I will admit that. Yeah, I get really scared going more than 7 over the speed limit. That's just where I cut it off.
Yeah,
but yeah, a little jerky.
Oh, well, that's a Tesla because that's the instantaneous.
I know. Yeah. So the number one Google trend for today, I feel like it's all right. It's called the Mabira. It's an instrument from Zimbabwe. And apparently Google does this thing called a Google Doodle where they change the logo of Google when you do www.google.com. Mm-hmm. And today it's the Mabira.
Oh, you can play it.
Play it in the speaker. You see that thing?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh.
Isn't that cool?
I had something like that as a kid.
Like a little thumb thing?
Like a little thumb thing, yeah. I had no idea what that was or what it was called. I just thought it's like this fun little thing, and you go like ding, 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 ding. It is interesting.
It's just a bunch of metal bars that stick out of like some sort of, like, I don't know what it is, but you just flick your thumb on it and it makes.
And they each have a different tune, and you can just sit there, just flicking this instrument.
So it's
Yeah.
like Culture Week or something in Zimbabwe. So they made that the number because it's like their national
cool.
instrument. So
Yeah.
they made that their Google Doodle. So last week I sent out some suggestions for the name of the podcast, and the winner was the Iced Coffee Hour.
Cool. So be it.
I think that we're going to choose that for the name of the podcast. But I'd like to say some honorable mentions.
Okay.
Graham's 20 cents. I like that.
I like it too.
I really like it. 20-cent iced coffee, Graham's 20 cents.
I like
Great
that.
title.
Yeah, I think
so.
that's
Thank
good.
you, whoever said that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Telegram.
Okay, clever. Let me guess. Instagram.
So Telegram's pretty good. I like it. Money Talks with Grahamstephan. That's a good one.
I like Money Talks. Isn't Money Talks? Oh, you know what? Money Talks is a YouTube original series called Money Talks.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a few of these probably were not like completely original.
Right.
The Papa Graham podcast, PGGP.
That's fun.
It's so,
it
like-
takes me a second to get that one. Yeah.
PGGP, not bad.
Okay.
20-cent Power Hour.
Cool name. I mean, it rhymes. I like Power Hour. Like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Decent.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Graham and the Cracker.
That's funny. Okay.
Graham and the
Yeah.
Cracker, not a bad one. The Long Term.
The long.
It's fine. That was probably
Alright,
one of my
okay.
least favorites of the honorable mentions.
Okay.
Grahamstephan builds your wealth, and then in parentheses, of knowledge.
A little wordy.
It's a little wordy, but
Right.
I like the creativity.
Okay.
Pour No More podcast.
I think it's okay.
I like this one. The only issue is like, if I was telling my parents, like, they're like, "Oh, what are you listening to, Jack?" And I said, "Oh, the Pour No More."
Yeah.
podcast.
I don't like the connotation of the word poor, and I think I want to appeal to the whole audience, whether you're poor or rich or whatever.
I'm also just
So-
thinking of many scenarios where people say "pour no more," and then people automatically like it doesn't sound.
It sounds like porno.
That's what I was
more.
saying.
Yeah.
So if my mom's asking me like, "What are you listening to?" Pour no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a little bad. And then
no.
Money Where Your Mouth Is.
I like
Good
that.
title.
Yes.
Some dishonorable mentions that I have. The Lasagna in the Dishwasher podcast.
All right.
Graham in a car grabbing 20-cent iced coffee.
All right. Reminds me a little bit of like Jerry Seinfeld.
I think that's
like
what they
in a
were
car.
going for
Okay.
with that.
Or Dead Mouse used to do his podcast in a car.
Really? What was he doing in his
He
car?
would he'd pick up whoever his guest was in usually a really high-end car. Usually it was his McLaren, and they would just drive around, go through the drive-through. And that was it. They would talk in the car, go through a drive-through, and that's it.
And it was a guest, like a celebrity or something?
Yeah.
Interesting. So now we're going to move on to the next segment, which is audio submissions.
Hi, Graham. I'm interested to know what your food budget is like for each month.
There you go.
Aiden, I don't really have a food budget. I don't really think about it. I'd say just every purchase, I kind of think in my mind how much that's going to be. At this point, since I've been working from home, and I really haven't done much. I would say my food budget has gone up because just going and getting takeout a little bit more often, like that becomes my thing to enjoy. Like I'll work all day and then I'll enjoy going and getting like some sushi or something like that. So it's probably gone up. Probably at this point it's a few $100 a month, I'd say is what it is.
Do you think that you've fell victim to the hedonic treadmill like at all? Like since you started making more money?
No, I would say the biggest thing is just not leaving the house. I like splurging a little bit more now because it seems like a nice reward for the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing that if I didn't have the income at this point. But yeah, it's just like I haven't left the house since like for 2 days. So like it makes sense.
2 days.
Like last night we got the Cheesecake Factory. But so like it's a small little reward. When did I leave the house?
We left the house on Monday
For what?
to go to McDonald's and the gym.
Oh, the gym. Monday, Tuesday. So I haven't left the house since Monday night. Wow.
How do you feel? Graham, you're still more tan than I am.
I don't know. Well, because I work out in the backyard.
Do you really?
Yeah. Oh, wait, work out there? Yeah, no. So I don't work out, but like I work out in the back. And yeah, usually I'm out there around like 9 a.m. on my computer. So yeah, that's why. But yeah, I guess I haven't left the house since Monday.
That's
Tuesday,
all right,
Wednesday,
man.
Thursday, 3 days.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's groovy.
But so that's the reason why I think it's going and getting food like that. It seems like a nice little reward since I'm not leaving the house anyway.
Right. Plus, you probably feel more compelled just to like leave the house since you're like stuck at home so
A
much.
lot of that's delivered. So I don't leave the house anyway. But sometimes it is fun. Like, you know, last night I wanted to go drive to the Cheesecake Factory, but like timing just didn't work out for that, so it was delivered.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. So there you go. Second submission. Let me pull this up.
Hey Graham, huge fan here. I was wondering if you could do another episode of Extreme Cheapskates on the second channel where you try to bake cookies in your Tesla.
Yes, that's a great idea. That's a really good idea, actually. We have not had that warm of a day. Like, we really got to wait for like an 80-degree, 85-degree day. So when that happens, yes. Part of my fear is that the whole car is going to smell like cookies. I don't know how you get that smell, because I like the smell.
That smells
of the car.
good, man.
I like the smell of the car now because it smells like
I don't
newish.
think cookies will like permanently change the smell of the car.
It might, because you get some food in there. Sometimes it stinks of the car. Like, it smells like fresh.
You didn't Graham girlfriend's car.
I don't know. She'll. I guess she wouldn't. I don't think she'd have a problem. Yeah, I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
As long as she's okay with it, I'll do that. Yeah.
Oh, you do my car if you don't.
All right,
want
I'll
to
do your car too. There we go. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I do want to do that. I think it's a great idea.
The Extreme Cheapskates thing was really interesting to me because everyone wants you to go dumpster diving. Are you actually going to do that?
If enough people want it,
I think people do.
Even know. Like, here's the thing. I don't know. First of all, I don't know where to dumpster dive, but I guess we could figure that out. I don't know how clean that is. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable eating out of a dumpster.
Okay, I didn't think that we'd go that far, to be honest.
What do you think?
Well, back in the day, there's like a dumpster diving community on YouTube where people like actually go to dumpsters. Like I used to play video games, so I would see people go to like dumpsters at GameStop and they'd pull out like fresh PS3s.
Okay.
And I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" Like that. I think that they planted them there, to be completely fair.
They could.
And like video games, like actual like Xbox or PS3 games, they would find just in the trash, and like posters and stuff that they just threw out. So I actually went one time, and I went dumpster diving. There was nothing. I just got dirty. It took like 4 hours, and I got some boxes, and that was pretty much it. I got boxes.
That's the thing. I know that's going to be a long video to make, and it requires me to actually go to find a dumpster, go there, sift through it, clean off that's a 5 hour long process. I just have to consider what my time is worth for the 5 hours. What
about enjoyment of making the video? Enjoyment of it.
Yeah, but sometimes I enjoy making the main video, like the main channel video. I mean, this would be something on the second channel, so I have to consider like where I'm going to get that time from. It's got to come from somewhere at this point. So it's what am I skipping so I can go and dumpster dive? So yeah, I'm sure it'll happen at some point. I just got to make the time.
We'll go. I actually really want to go dumpster diving. I think that would be fun.
Okay.
This is from Hector.
Hey Graham, I'm 15 and I've been using this quarantine period to learn about finance and making money, but I've been wondering how I could stop wasting so much time doing useless things like playing video games. And I'm sure many others my age have a similar issue. Any thoughts?
Yeah, you just got to force yourself. I don't know. It seems just like a lack of motivation there. You just got to force yourself. Part of that for me is you got to hide the video game from yourself. Like, if you know you don't have self-control, don't do it. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to give into it. For me, I would say a big one would be like having chocolates in the house. I know for me in the afternoon, I would really crave chocolate. So I purposely just won't go and get chocolate because I know I don't have the self-control to hold myself back. I think it's the same thing applies. If you're going to get caught up with video games, you got to put it away.
That's fair. My old cross-country coach told me the hardest part of going for a run is just putting on your shoes, which I totally agree with. I think the hardest part about starting to be productive is just taking that first step and making the first move to try to do something productive, to work towards a project. And once you kind of get into the rhythm of things, it just kind of goes from then on.
I could see that.
So yeah, just unplug and start working on something.
Totally agree with that.
And also, once you get into the rhythm of working on it, the next day, getting back into it, it's so much easier. Make it a habit.
Yep.
Final question.
Hey, Graham. I'm from the YouTube channel s.manacheri, cough cough, shameless plug. And I was just wondering if you'll be telling us about how much money you make from this new podcast of yours. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see why not. No, absolutely. I'm curious to see how this plays out. I really have no idea what to expect. My guess... Worst case scenario, even if we post these up on YouTube, worst case scenario, one video a week, $1,000 a month, worst case.
I agree.
I would say that's probably if it just, no one really watches or enjoys it, but I'd say $1,000 a month is probably the worst case. Best case, I have no idea. It just depends.
Who knows? $100 million in 3 years or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you never know. But we would start having bigger guests on. Like Elon Musk. Like once you start having Elon Musks on the channel,
exactly,
and you have someone on your podcast, and it gains like newsworthy attention, then I think that's the point where, yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions I really like.
Okay.
Would you rather have no money and 3 kids, or no kids and 3 money?
What's 3 money?
Which one is it, Graham?
I'd probably pick the 3 kids.
3 kids and...
If I'm gonna be completely broke and I had the choice, I'd rather have.
See, I don't understand why people. The way I took it is like it's such a black and white question. Like I think like obviously I'm 21. I want 3 money and no kids, but I don't know what like.
Yeah, but this is forever. Like I'm
is
just
it?
assuming.
Is
I'm
it?
just assuming.
We don't know that.
If it's like right now today, what do you want? Obviously the 3 money. But if it's like the rest of your life, either you're gonna have no money or 3 kids, or 3 kids, or no money and I don't know. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, if it's the rest of my life, I'd rather have kids, and then at least they could make their own decision if they want 3 kids too, or they want 3 money.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just see you think that it's for like the whole duration of the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's how I think.
I don't know how I take it. I just personally, I would choose a 3 money, no kids right now, and I don't know. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, but if it's right now, I pick the 3 money. If it's for the rest of my life, I pick the 3 kids.
Okay. Fair enough. Is cereal a soup? You can't look this up.
I'm just looking define soup. I want to know the definition for soup. Soup. Okay, soup says a liquid dish typically made by boiling meat, fish, or vegetables in stock or water. A substance or mixture perceived to resemble soup in appearance or consistency. I would say it is a soup. Well, here's the thing. Cereal itself is not a soup. It becomes a soup when you put it in milk. Then it becomes a soup. It's like saying, is pasta a soup? No, not really. Like ramen is not a soup on itself, but it is a soup when you combine ingredients. So I would say cereal in a box is not soup, but cereal when you add liquid to it becomes a soup.
I don't think anyone was asking if cereal in a box.
Yeah, but you have to clarify that, like, because it could be a trick question. Like, a box of cereal is not in itself soup.
Okay, fair enough. I think I can attest to that. I agree with that. If cereal is a soup, is a hot dog a sandwich?
I would say no, because
really,
yeah, no, because the sandwich you don't usually have 2 buns that are connecting.
Every time I barbecue hot dogs, I barbecue the buns, and if you barbecue the buns, they will break apart.
That's a tough one.
I feel like if you're one to argue
hot dog
that
could be a type of sandwich, like you have a Philly cheesesteak sandwich,
like a wiener. I feel like I've heard that before.
Burger is sandwich. A BLT is a sandwich. Then yes, I changed my answer.
Yeah, I think if you say that
be a sandwich.
Cereal's a soup, you kind of have to say like hot dog's a sandwich.
Right.
Would you rather fight? The final question: 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
I've heard that. 100 duck-sized horses.
I think so too.
I think it's probably more manageable.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because you can't fight a horse.
Right.
Right? And a duck actually has like a mouth that you can
that
bite
could
you
be
with.
really dangerous. I think I would not do that.
Really dangerous.
I like the little tiny ones.
What?
Yeah.
What if it was like 200? Where do you think you put your limit at for duck-sized horses? I put mine at 300.
I don't know. Depends how well they're coordinated between them. Because the thing is, it's like, one ant on itself is not that bad, but you get hundreds of thousands
put bows
of
and
ants.
arrows on them.
And then, how smart they are, how, agile. I don't know. I'd probably a few hundred. I might go to maybe like 500.
No.
I don't know.
A 500?
Something like that. I don't know.
That's a lot, man.
I don't know.
All right. Fair enough. So, I mean, I thought I prepared so much more this time.
Mm-hmm.
That was 2.5 pages of material.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what's kind of cool right now? I just noticed CNBC Make It trending. So not the main CNBC, but CNBC.com/Make-It. I think...
Because the Kevin O'Leary thing.
Kevin O'Leary thing. Are we number 1? Yep, we're number 1 trending.
Are you kidding me?
Well, let's see, but CNBC Make It. So it's like they're offset. So it's not like CNBC trending. The main page would be like, wow, like that's like major. If you go on CNBC right now trending, it's like I can't compete with how long it could take before your stimulus check arrives. President, billionaires got richer. Oh, here's one. Here's what we can talk about. American billionaires got $434 billion richer during the pandemic.
$434 billion?
Yes. U.S. billionaires saw their fortunes soar by $434 billion during the national lockdown between mid-March and mid-May, according to a new report. Amazon's Jeff Bezos and Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg had the biggest gains.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. Here's the thing. Like, I saw this, and it seems like they're trying to spin it like really wealthy people are taking advantage. Like, this
or
seems
like the laws are
to me, it's
conditioned to be good for them.
It's like the rich get richer. That's to me how it's structured. Now they don't mention that overwhelmingly a lot of people had their wealth go down during this. I mean, you could probably survey most millionaires, or pretty much anyone involved in the stock market is going to have their wealth decline, whether they're worth 100 million, 50 million, whatever. The thing that they isolate on this is that generally, to have a net worth of $1 billion or more, usually it involves something that scales on a mass level. It has to do with the internet. You're going to find very few billionaires who did so. It's like, building, a real estate empire. Way fewer than you will like some 35, 40-year-old who did it with the internet. So it makes sense. It just so happens that during this pandemic, we all went online. And so it makes sense that
and
these
a lot
people
of billionaires have online stuff.
Yeah, and so that's how they make their money. So it makes sense that they have a business right now online that just happens to be thriving during this time. So to me, it's no different than, oil going up in price. And it's like, what, oil billionaires added money to their wealth. Or the stock market goes up and they could say like, the average American added 10% to their wealth during these months. So to me, it's nothing surprising. But
what I want to know is what percentage of billionaires actually made like a lot of money, because I feel like that would be a lot more relevant than just saying the billionaires made this much. Because what if it's just like a few billionaires at the top that made so much that it offset the losses of like some lower billionaires?
Yeah. Let's see.
Because no way every billionaire made a bunch of money.
Let's see if we could figure out where the report is. I don't see any report of just like, how they get the information. Where do they get the information from? It says American billionaires saw their fortune soar by according to a new report.
They don't.
Where's the report? Let's see. Oh, wait, here. According to the report from the Americans for Tax Fairness and the Institute Policies for Program of Inequality. I don't think it's just
sounds like they would have an agenda.
It seems like they're painting this to be a negative, but to me, it just so happens to me that they had a business that is in very high demand. And also, I wouldn't expect this necessarily to continue. I mean, a lot of this is on paper, as people are not going and doing their shopping. Everything is online. I would expect that to come down at some point. I don't think that it's going to remain this high forever, and I think it's going to take some time to catch up after things settle down. But I think they had a good product. They had a good service that just so happens to be in need, and they're offering a lot during this time that people use on a daily basis. So I don't have a problem with it.
It makes sense that Facebook and Amazon would be doing extremely well right now, though.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, of course. And it also goes to say that Ralph Lauren saw his wealth drop by $100 million. So now he's only worth $5.6 billion.
Are you kidding?
Well, hotelier John Pritzker saw his wealth drop by $34 million to $2.56 billion. At that drop is nothing, because you got to think $5.6 billion to have your net worth drop $100 million. That's what?
Yeah,
like
that's
4%,
not that.
3.5%.
That's not like.
Yeah,
that's like a bad year in the market.
Yeah, I mean, if someone is worth $100,000 and they have it all invested in the markets, they're down 10%. That would be Ralph Lauren is down 3%.
Right.
So
Plus, I feel like a lot of rich people, like that caliber of like wealth, they're probably really diversified in their portfolioes, don't you think? They wouldn't be hit so hard by
Ralph Lauren is not sweating a $100 million loss at that level. It's just that just becomes this arbitrary number. Mm-hmm. It would make no difference at all. But yeah, so I found that interesting. That's CNBC, guys. And then, what's this? Kevin O'Leary reacts to a 30-year-old YouTube millionaire refuses to spend money on coffee. I like how they use that. Refuses to spend money on coffee. It's true. I think it's...
When's the last time you got Starbucks?
I got it as a gift for somebody else. So the guy who's been helping us out at the nursery, not like the plant nursery,
right.
Has been hooking us up a lot. So his request was like, hey, if you wouldn't mind the next time you come here, just get me a Starbucks. He wanted a tall... iced coffee with some cream and 2 sugar. And I thought for fun, it might be kind of funny just to make my own coffee and get a Starbucks coffee and then pour my own coffee and do the same thing and see if he notices. But no, I went through with it. I got him a Starbucks.
20-cent ounce coffee is good. Like, I remember you didn't really talk about it before. Like, we started working together because it came to fruition through the second channel. But the first time I tried it, it was really, really good.
I told you, it's decent. Well, a lot of it's covered up by the coffee creamer.
Right,
so the coffee creamer is really where the flavor comes from, but it's good.
It's good stuff. Good. Yeah. One thing I find really interesting, Graham, is that you tell people to make TikToks. Like, you advise that to a lot of the people that are trying to grow their reach.
Yeah,
but why don't you do it, man?
I just think it's silly.
But you
can't
people
deny it works, but like I just think it's silly. I barely have the time to do what I'm doing. So, excuse me, I need a sip of my coffee. Sore subject for me, but yeah, I barely have the time to do what I'm doing. So I don't want to add another thing into the mix. I don't want to learn something else at this point. I just want to continue getting better at what I know, what I'm good at. I'd used TikTok briefly. It's just
you have
not
a TikTok.
My audience. I have a TikTok.
You have an account.
Yeah,
I saw your video.
Yeah, it's just not my cup of coffee. It's just I don't like making the content on there. I just don't like it. But it works. So like I acknowledge it works. I get it. It's just I personally right now don't like it. Maybe we come back at this a few years from now and like I'm not known as like some YouTube guy. I'm like the Grahamstephan, the TikTok guy. I don't know, but it's just not. I just don't like it.
No, that's completely fair.
Yeah.
Like, did you know it's the most downloaded app ever?
That's crazy. Wow.
I heard that, and I think it's right that it is literally the most downloaded app ever.
I would be surprised it's on Instagram.
No, I think it's the most.
I would okay.
Oh, it says it's the most downloaded app on the Apple App Store.
Oh, makes sense.
Does it?
Yeah.
But Instagram and Snapchat are still on the Apple App Store.
TikTok becomes the most downloaded app after crossing the 2 billion mark.
2 billion people. That's over 25%.
Over 2 billion TikTok downloads. I wonder how many of those are just how many people that is.
Right. I still think it's probably over a quarter of the population of like all humans.
Wow. Why? Oh, you know what? Q1. So it peaked in Q4 of 2018, went down 2019, and then this year so far it exploded.
Probably because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I think just it gives people a thing to do. It's just another thing to keep our minds occupied, and it's TikTok.
So I was a hater of TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. And I saw no point in it. I thought Vine was better than TikTok. And I decided to get one because my friend told me to get one. I haven't made any TikToks.
Yeah.
But I saw it, and actually, after spending a little bit of time on it, it's funny.
Yeah, I like the For You page, the main page, whatever it is. You get some interesting stuff. And you can't deny there's a lot of creativity that goes into some of these things. And I'm like, how do you do that? How do you think of that? Like, that's really good. Interesting to see where it develops from there. I see a lot of people going from TikTok then to YouTube, which is interesting. But, I think whatever platform you could get on is
makes
good.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, it works. It's just I might be a little too old to jump in at this point. That's how I feel.
I might cut this, but do you know who Jason Derulo is? Mm-hmm. He's like the king of TikTok right now.
Are you serious?
He has like 20 million followers on TikTok and like 4.5 on Instagram.
Wow. Jason Derulo is big though.
Yeah, but why 4 times the amount of followers on TikTok than Instagram? He makes so many TikToks, like so many, and he's super into it. Wow. I think it's the funniest thing.
Yeah, Jason Derulo was a big music guy though, like 10 years ago. Like he had quite a few hit songs, and it's good to see he's continued that momentum.
Yeah.
Wow, because I don't know if I know any new music by him, but wow, way to go, Jason Derulo.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I know is Jason Derulo, whatever. So whatever that is. Yeah. So, yeah, this is good. So I think for the next one, though, what we should end up doing is let's find some news stories that we could discuss and talk about. And that way I feel like it's less of like a Q&A and like more of a discussion that we could talk about like current events. And let us know down below in the comments or reach out or do something. Let us know what you think of that. I mean, that's the direction I think would be rather interesting. But whatever you think, man.
I agree. I think it should be more conversational
Yes.
than Q&A
Right.
based. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because otherwise we're going to run out of stuff on a Q&A. There's only so much to Q&A.
Right.
But news is forever.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for checking this out.
Yeah.
This would be the second episode.
Yeah, and you'll see the third next week.
Exactly. So, and with that said, thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching. Smash the like button. Add us on Instagram. 2 free stocks down below in the description. Do you get Weeble? Get your 2 free stocks. One of them's worth up to 1,400. And yeah.
With that said, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and until next time.